Hello, I'm Mother Barbara, and I am so happy to be here again to talk to you about the season of Advent. Last week, we got ready for the first Sunday of Advent, and we lit one of the purple candles in our Advent wreath, and we talked about hope. We talked about what it was like to wait and to watch and to want something to happen so badly, but how to wait and watch in hope. Because we know Jesus was all about bringing something new and wonderful in the world. And so maybe you had time to think about, what are you hoping for? What new and wonderful thing can Jesus' love bring into your heart or into your family or into our world? I'd love to know what you're thinking about. So always let me know if you can. So today we're getting ready for the second Sunday of Advent, and we're going to light another purple candle. But before then, we're going to read a little bit more from this wonderful book called Look, that teaches us about what this season of Advent might be about. So this day, we're going to talk about looking back, the people in darkness. Long ago, the people of God huddled in the dark, waiting and watching for the light. Oh, it was a time of deep sadness. Once they had lived in Jerusalem, but an army came and destroyed their city, their homes, and their gardens, and even their holy places. And they carried the people far away in the desert. Everything they knew and loved was gone. All the color and all the light seemed to have seeped out of their world. But in the darkness, God whispered messages of hope. God said, I will bring you home again. Where the ground is dry and cracked, oh, a spring of water will bubble up. From a dead stump, bright green leaves will grow. And those who sit in deep darkness, light will shine again. So even though they could not see the way ahead, the people kept watching for the light. I wonder, was it hard for them to hope? Is it hard for you to hope right now? Maybe they looked back and told stories about God, how God had been with them in the past. Maybe that helped them wait, knowing they were never alone in the darkness. So during Advent, we look back too. We remember the people who waited and watched and hoped for signs of God in their life, especially when things weren't so easy. So every day we can put a new ornament on a Jesse tree. Now a Jesse tree tells us who Jesus was related to. It's as though when you talk to your parents and you know who your grandparents are and their grandparents and their grandparents, and you know you're connected to this much larger family. Well, Jesus was connected to a much larger family too, and Jesse was an important part of that. And so we think about a Jesse tree when we put or remember the stories of people connected to Jesus who waited and hoped until Jesus was able to be here and the Messiah showed up and love came into our world in a new way. So they remembered people like Noah who waited for the storm to stop. And they remembered people like Abraham and Sarah who waited a long time to have a baby. And they remember Moses and Miriam as they waited for the sea to part and then to get into the promised land. And then they waited for the Hebrew or the Israelites in Egypt so they could be set free. And of course the people of Jerusalem waited until they could go home again. Sometimes I feel like I'm waiting for something. Sometimes I want God to come and help me. And whenever we feel that way, we know everybody else's story about waiting and hoping is our story too. So during Advent, we practice waiting and watching. And we can look through our old photographs and see the videos of us when we were little babies. And we can try to see how God was with us. even in the really hard times. Sometimes we actually see better when we look back. But here's something you can do every night as you go to bed. Before you say your prayers, you can say, where did I see God today? Where did God show up in my life? When things were happy or when things were sad? When did you feel love? That's where God was. You can write about it. You can draw a picture about it. Or you can pray prayer beads. So with each bead that your finger touches, you can name a way that you knew God was with you in the light and in the dark. So one night in our story, it says we bundle up and go outside to look up at the stars because we need to remember that God is in the darkness too. Wherever I am, God is with me. Have you ever done that? Gone outside and looked way up in the sky and saw all sorts of stars and the moon, and it filled your heart with hope because you knew God was there too. Wherever you are, God is with you. And so now as we get ready for our second Sunday of Advent, we bring our wreath out from last week and we notice that we already have one candle lit, the candle that says hope. Always have hope. And now we're going to light another candle, and this one stands for peace. And so you can pick any other purple candle and light it. So peace means when you feel really good in your heart, when things feel right, when you love someone or feel love from someone else, that's a gift. That's a gift from God. So I pray for you this week that you will find many moments when you feel at peace, when you know you are waiting in hope, and you know that Jesus is going to show up in that manger on Christmas Eve, and a new kind of love will be here in our world. May God bless and keep you this week. And may God's light shine upon you. And may God's peace, that passes all understanding, be in your heart now and always. See you next week. Amen.